Here shortly, the United and Stormwind Mini-Set will arrive with 35 new Deadmines themed cards to shake things up. With the limited time between the card reveals and today's release, we decided to narrow the list of day one deck recommendations from the 20 or so we came up with to just 4 decks, which should be quite fun. We'll be experimenting with most of the others we came up with on stream soon, so keep an eye out for highlight videos with these decks and some other fun ones in the near future. Before we hop into the decks, let me note that there are timestamps and deck codes for each deck in the description below in case you'd like to jump to one you're interested in. Now, let's get into it. When looking at what Warlock will be able to do with the new cards, we initially planned to feature a deck using Hullbreaker to reliably tutor Deck of Chaos from our deck for wacky shenanigans there. And we will certainly experiment with that. But when Mr. Smite was revealed, members in our Discord server came up with an even more interesting idea: a Circus Smite OTK Warlock. As the name suggests, this deck is running Circus Amalgam alongside Mr. Smite so that we can OTK our opponent with help from N'Zoth and Wicked Whispers. If you res 5 Amalgams alongside Mr. Smite with N'Zoth, then buff the board with Wicked Whispers, you'll have 32 damage in charging minions ready to smite your opponent. The deck is running Philosophy, Raise Dead, and Northshire Farmer as ways to generate extra copies of Circus Amalgam so that you can kill off 5 copies while building to the 10 mana necessary for the OTK. With the Soul Fragment package, control tools, and taunt from Circus Amalgams, it should be possible to stay alive long enough to pull off at least a partial OTK to finish the opponent. Waiting for the full OTK may prove quite challenging in the current meta, but we'll certainly try it for ourselves. If you decide on any interesting tech swaps, let us know in the comments below. The next deck also runs Mr. Smite, but this time it's a deck archetype you may have been expecting all along: Pirate Warrior. But as usual, we've got an unusual twist to the deck: Blacksmithing Hammer. Now, Blacksmithing Hammer in Questline Warrior does include some counter synergies, since the Juggernaut will replace the hammer at the start of your next turn with a different random weapon. But the pirate synergies with this weapon and the fact that the first stage of the questline will pull it into our hand made it too good of an opportunity to pass up. We will try a non-questline version later, but for today's video, this version made the cut. The deck is named for Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, thanks to the questline and Corsair Cache continuing to pull the hammer back to our hand after we toss it away. We did only include 1 copy so that the same one will keep coming back, and there would be a downside to a second copy drawn late due to the Juggernaut. But you could drop a pirate or the Coerce for a second copy if you prefer. With this build, you may actually choose not to play Rokara right away so that you can kill your opponent with a 9/7 Blacksmithing Hammer buffed by double trades, double Corsair Caches, and double Nitro Boost poisons. Have fun tossing around a very heavy hammer. Speaking of heavy hitters, our next deck uses Monstrous Parrot and Doggy Biscuits to make sure the Darkmoon Tonks get lots of extra damage on our opponent. The Tonks are very threatening, but they come down late, and they usually just idle on board with 0 immediate impact. But what if we give them Rush for just 1 mana more thanks to Doggy Biscuit? Then the Tonks become an 8 mana massive minion removal with an 8 damage explosion into the rest of the enemy board or face. We already had Devouring Swarm as a 0 mana Rush option for Darkmoon Tonk, but Doggy Biscuit makes it even more consistent. And then, why not follow up with a couple Monstrous Parrots for 16 more damage to blow the opponent away even harder? If that's not enough, Northshire Farmer can get you a few more cannon-firing parrots in your deck. Now, most games, you won't need that much value from parrots to finish off the opponent, so Northshire Farmer is probably better on Encumbered Pack Mule or Swift Hyenas to stall the board or keep the pressure on as you cycle into the Tonks and parrots with the leatherworking kit. This is probably the most challenging of the decks in today's video to get awesome value with, but I can't help but get excited about a couple parrots swooping onto the board and firing off tons of cannons. Have fun with this one. Our final recommendation for today is this Edwin's Plushies Rogue. When trying to figure out how to get great value from Edwin's effect, we considered Garrote and Cthulhu, but Garrote Rogue is already really streamlined, and using Edwin there didn't feel exciting. He may work well in a Cthulhu build, but if you draw a piece of Cthulhu alongside playing him, you need some pre-existing discounts or more than 9 mana to keep going. He's actually a bit tough to get value from, since you have to play the cards you draw into to keep him going. So we decided to focus a little more on the card draw aspect of Edwin and modify the sketchy shuffle Spy Rogue we featured a few weeks ago to work a little better with him. Since one of the challenges of that deck was cycling through the deck fast enough to capitalize on the value of shuffling so many extra plush bears into the deck. This one should be a lot of fun. However, without having the chance to play it first, there is one concern I have for the deck. If we draw a ticket with Edwin, which is a casts when drawn to summon the plush bears, will the card pulled by the casts when drawn ticket allow us to continue chaining Edwin? If not, that's a significant issue for the deck, and Garrote Rogue would face the same problem unless they wait to shuffle the bleeds. Hopefully we can keep chaining with the tickets, because I'm really looking forward to seeing a huge, threatening Edwin surrounded by little pink plush bears, which still look quite menacing themselves. We'll confirm how they interact soon, and if it doesn't work out quite as well as we hope, we'll figure out some way to get excellent value from Edwin. Have fun experimenting. And that's it for our day 1 deck recommendations. We'll be experimenting with each one of these decks and quite a few more during our streams this weekend at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. So, if you'd like to see these decks in action or share your own ideas, hop on over and say hi. I'm hoping this has been a helpful starting point for your own deck experiments. If so, go ahead and drop a like, and comment down below with your own twist or the results you had with the decks. We'll be sharing gameplay highlights with these and other experimental decks soon, and we'll finish up our Achievement Hunter series with the Mini-Set edition for Stormwind soon as well. So be sure to check back or subscribe so that you can see those when they come out. And as always, remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.